Throughout trials and tribulations, you have never given up the fight. Gather here to straighten your crown. Much love and light. Hit it!
Hit the light, hit the light.
Love and light. Love and Light Collective. All right, this one, is not for everyone. Just a heads up. But I really appreciate you guys clicking on the video, giving it a like, making sure you're still subscribed. All right, especially if you thought you did. Okay. And clicking that bell notification, sliding it over to all, please and thank you. All right, I really appreciate you guys for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But the situation is that we are not, it would be unfathomable, unfathomable, I'm making up words apparently, for me to sit here and in good conscience think that this is everybody's story. It's just one of those. It's like whoever this is maybe could, maybe should write a book, okay? So there's that. And we are talking not so good energy at the moment, currently. All right. So I really felt led to title this message What Your Higher Self Needs to Know. This is somebody's higher self, that's for sure, okay, but it wasn't really as far reaching energetically, spiritually, as what I, on a personal note, intended, you guys. But I'm not here to manipulate the cards or the message, and I can only gather that whoever's really going to resonate with this really needed this message, okay? Not that I'm tooting my own horn, it's just once you hear what it is, it just is what it is, okay? And listen up, you guys, because I'm pretty sure you can get something out of this, even though it's not your actual situationship, or story. And good on you for that, because I feel like in normal course, people would want to shy away from some of the goings on that this person or these people are currently, ferreting through. And when I talk about this energy and the happenings within it, right? This could be extremely frustrating because for some here, it's not even the first time, okay? With this deja vu energy here, really. But your higher self here, whom all ever is going to resonate with this one, and in general course, I can say that much, want you to know, as far as your potential, it is unlimited. It is at least comparable with infinity. All right, so you, irregardless of what maybe just went down or what's going on, all right, however long ago or short ago, you still have potential, and that's really an understatement, okay? Now, I want to say higher self, but gosh, I can't get around the inner child energy, right? Which, as it should be the case, right? Like your inner child shouldn't be like separate and apart and quarantined away from your higher self, if that makes sense, okay? Because it does. Hopefully it makes sense for you all. All right. Any aspect of you being a creator and or co-creator has great power. And so, of course, that would include the inner child for those that, maybe weren't aware, just saying. All right. But it's almost like, I'm trying to pull for the general collective, and it seems like we've got one or a few that as far as who's going to resonate with this high key, right? And then on top of it, it's not even just the quote unquote higher self, because we've got the ancestors energy coming through. We've got actually the universe energy coming through. They made cards about it, guys. And of course, the inner child coming through and all across the board. All right. So this is giving you're too much to not understand or have awareness of that. Some might say you're, quote, too blessed to be stressed, end quote. Okay. Whatever resonates for you there, whatever tag words or antics or sentiments you need to fall out on my face right now, plug them in, babe, okay, so you make sense of this. But it may not be easy, but it will be worth it, and you can, and yes, you will, coming out for you, okay? So we've got that on the other side of what? Unlimited potential. Wow. Now, who am I speaking to? Well, somebody who is or is desirous of becoming a veterinarian, or just someone who loves pets in general. All right. I could be speaking to the class nerd. You thought I was going to say clown, didn't you? The nerds often are much more successful, but I digress. So success energy even attached to what normally could have some sort of mal stigma to it. Go figure, right? I could be speaking to a gym bro out there, or a gym person, all right? Sculpted and muscular as ever, okay? Could be some significance to protein shakes. Confirmation. Or somebody might need to implement that because the clock, the timer, excuse me, hit 5 as that toned out there. And so that could next level your ish. Just saying. All right. Take what resonates, you guys. And somebody here could work for special forces, armed forces, military could be of some significance. Doesn't have to be the case, as well as some form of agent, or maybe you work for an agency, and this could be of the stealth mode variety, okay? Speaking in code here, but if that's you, you know, okay? Um, could be speaking to a social media influencer and or a student. Some significance about inventions, being an inventor. All right, there's unlimited potential and success energies attached to you now. Whether you subscribe as being that of a military officer, a mechanic, or a survivalist. You know, maybe you feel like, you know, you're best under pressure, and you thrive under survival mode. I challenge you on that type of perception, because I feel like wholeheartedly you could live out with a lot less, should I say, hardship, than the current mindset. That's just a sidecar message. Okay, but I digress. It could be a model here, a tattoo artist. There could be some significance to travel connected to what all you got going on, whether you're a blogger or not. And we've got actor. Could be actor or an actress. And you know, if you don't already understand this, whatever you got going on, leading to the potentiality with this unlimited, right, potential that you got going on, to be that of a billionaire if you're not already. Okay. So kudos, congratulations, own it. Okay, you know what I'm saying. But here's the sitch. You're kind of disgruntled, up in arms, as it were. For those who will resonate with this one, you guys, as having your stolen, excuse me, as having your identity stolen. All right. And again, with this deja vu energy coming through this other deck here, this could have been not the first time. You could be in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s. All right. You could, there could be some significance to the national anthem, whether you kneel or not. All right. But really, you know, it's like Spirit got jokes. It's, quote, may the biggest victim win, end quote. And really, we're not here to be victims. In spite of any victimization that has made its way to our path, we honor ourselves as victors. Correct? Correct. All right. So the goal is never to be the victim, right? But even for that not being the goal, you still win. You know what I'm saying? Like it's giving, like, they tried it, you know, efforts have been made. Will they actually impact your success? Hell no, right? Because you can't be victimized. You can only be the victor on the other side of some form of offense, right? And there could be some significance to Dr. Seuss. You could, you know, be an advocate against racism, or just have been through the ringer regarding racism. So sorry to hear that if that's you, babe. All right. And you could be a male here. Doesn't have to be the case, but if that is the case, watch out for any type of toxic masculinity that you may have. I'm not calling you out here, just saying, okay? And you know what? This could be something that you need called out for, and I say that with the most utmost respect and love, because I do see in the cards that there is some lesson that you're supposed to learn, and this could have been on the strength of, you know, being raised under misinformation, some skewed perceptions of realities of situations by your caretakers, your authorities, and of course, inclusive of, you know, aspects of yourself. We've all got dark and light aspects, archetypes, energies, right? Just the same as that of the masculine as well as feminine, all right? It's very important to be honest about, you know, what things you may, you know, benefit from making change over. Okay, it's not a a call out session, but just saying, okay? Because long story short, the divine, being the ultimate strategist that it is, will most assuredly use what gets our attention in a natural way anyhow to teach us lessons. Because otherwise, how are you learning if you're not paying attention? So the divine's got to use what we pay attention to naturally often to teach us lessons. Even some of those harsher ones, you guys, go figure, right? And I'm just picking up that this masculine energy, this male, as it were, could be, heavily climbing out of energies of that of religious oppression, right? You could have just been all out for Christ, as it were, right? And this is not me coming against Christ. This is not me coming against any aspect of divinity, to be clear, but the templating and the oppression that is spewed forth from religious sects under the guise of doing, quote, God's work is more what I'm addressing and picking up on energetically here, as well as through the cards, okay? And for whoever this is, you could have a history of like just questioning, is there even a God, right? Because if there's a God, how the hell is this happening in God's house, in God's church, in God's synagogue, right? Like just, whatever and what all ever, okay? And you could have been oppressed by religious people, groupings, organizations, okay? Get that. You could be a small business owner, don't have to be, but there is this heavy oppression energy connecting to religion coming out, even as far as, my body, my choice. Now, I'm picking up that this is a male masculine figure, energy, okay, person. And even still, there could be some aspect to, this person really just, it's almost like I want to channel. It's like, I just get tired of the same old, these people push these agendas, the same as anything else, and they tout it as God's message, and they tout it as, people's worth in God's eyes when it's a man-made agenda, right? There could be some significance to politics as well coming through here. This person could believe that, separation of church and state should be a thing in spite of their grievances against the church, all right? I'm also looking at 310s here. So again, somebody could be age 30, doesn't have to be the case, but you could definitely be finding yourself in the throes of what is termed as the dark night of the soul energy. It's not one night, to be clear, thankfully, right? And so you are heavily tasked with, surrendering, allowing this cycle to close out and turning over a new leaf, perhaps. And I say that because, again, there's some air of, it's like it's well and good to be all like, okay, church folk or religious people, dot, dot, dot. Just the way that some other people might say men always, dot, 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 or women always, dot, dot, dot. But even in those cases, for each and every one of us, when we are choosing to, call it as it is, you got to be mindful there is an air of judgment there. And sometimes when you are around a large body of individuals, like any of the ones we've already mentioned, okay, it becomes normalized or standardized to be in that prose and in the throes of judgment towards others much more easily than you might want to admit. And if that's you, being asked to check yourself on that, because here's the sit, you guys. Each and every time we are pointing the finger, even at facts, right? We still should be of the mindset that, we're not perfect as well, right? If you want to say, quote, saved by grace, end quote, however that makes sense for you, right? It's the same ideology for that, okay? Because nobody's perfect here. All right. Yes, we are made in the image of God, as it were, divinity, as it were, right? But we also are here with free will and, dare I say, balance or perhaps imbalance of the very energies and likeness, okay, to varying degrees of said divinity. So there's that. And again, we're on the other side of the veil here, all right? Things aren't meant or made to be crystal clear here always and in all ways. So don't forget those facts just the same, right? As judgy as, others may want to tout me as, I'm not unmindful of all aspects of the coin here. All right. But in your current energies here, sir, or whom all ever may actually resonate with this, you're being tasked with understanding that You know, in spite of any aspects of messiness in your path, they are to assist you, okay, to bringing some form of elegant order. How do you know what order is unless you've experienced its opposite, right? And every cycle is a higher opportunity of learning. So who are you to say, no, no, I shouldn't be in a cycle. I should not be coming out of a cycle, and I should not be entering into a cycle when that's what this life is about. All right. And so again, going back to this coinage, so interesting because this, you know, the cards that I just went over kind of connect back to this Five of Pentacles, which interestingly enough looks almost like into that of an Ace of Pentacle. It looks almost like into that of one entity, one coin, one cycle. You know, it's all connected. It's happening for you. As crappy as it seems, all right, it's supposed to get your attention to help you learn, right? And you're being asked to polish your mirror for perfect clarity. Now, here's the sitch. I didn't make the cards. I'm also here not to mince words about the cards. So I will give you the message, but I'm giving you the sidecar wisdom here. All right. There's no perfection in this realm. So please take the pressure off. Right. Could you imagine without that tidbit of wisdom, perhaps, okay, how you might actually feel a lot of pressure trying to polish your mirror? Do you know what I'm saying? 16 could be a number of some significance, but it really reduces down to a 7 beautifully and as it should, talking about closing out cycles and incoming rewards. Okay. And you guys, that's actually the title of a previous message that I've uploaded to the channel. You may also want to check out. Okay. Now, what you don't see here, whoever's resonating with this, sir, ma'am, whomever, okay, is that there is this brilliant divine assistive energy. Okay. You could be seeing 8 in synchronicity of this one, but really talking about that Ace of Cups. It's interesting. 8s do speak to prosperity, and I was feeling that more so than I was feeling it being a big old cup o' love. Just saying, right? Not that you're here to be loveless, but this is really talking about like the ultimate wish fulfillment and connecting to, again, prosperity, the financial variety. And as for that trader, okay, whether you know them or not, whomever or however your identity was stolen here, they will be harshly dealt with. Judgment against them. Judgment is upon them, I'm hearing to say, as you just kind of skate away here. And I know you're thinking, what? Skate away? I was affected. Credit score, credit cards, dot, 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 right? You got to put your best foot forward and remain positive, okay? Your effortless effort is fully required. And that's so interesting because this, I already got through the channeling the credit cards, right? And I promise you, I could not even make this up. This is pulled from the Cosmic Journey Oracle, and the card states, your effortless effort is fully required. It's a wallet with 1, 2, 3. It looks like at least 4 credit cards in there talking about effortless effort. All right, so MasterCard, Visa. I cannot read the other ones. I almost looks like that one card says joy on it, but I'm not sure. And then a bunch of numbers on the other. But they could be of some significance, or you should be checking, you know, maybe you knew about the one, check the other. Could be up to 4 cards you may need to check. Just saying, all right? But yeah, judgment against your enemies, frenemies, anyone trying it. Okay. Now you're being asked to, you know, again with this mirror polish effect, kind of put the purple lens on in your glasses. And what that means is it's definitely not the same as the rose colored. All right. We're talking purple. Gosh, now we're talking Prince, aren't we? No, let me stop. But I can't, forgive me, you guys, I cannot think of purple too long without thinking of Prince. But Prince may be of some significance, or his music, okay? Um, but there is some significance to you learning lessons about humanity. You know, often when you have a big mission on Earth, and you do, I've seen it in your cards, just saying, okay. You know, you are tasked with understanding all walks of life. Some of you, you know. Now, why would that be? So that you could integrate with all walks of life and understand them and meet them where they're found, kind of thing, right? Um, Gosh, just there could be hella significance to Yeshua. Most call him Jesus as well. especially with that Prince energy coming through. And really talking about how highly ranked in the spiritual realm you are. You are here, right, like on Earth and like to learn and stuff, but you're like at least at master's level. I don't know if there's too many more rungs in the ladder of coursework that would be above what you're going through. So this could seem really freaking messy. It could seem like you really are asked out and have absolutely no money and no hope and no new beginnings and no wish fulfillment and no assistance and no breakthroughs, right? Because it's meant to be purposefully impactful for you, such to the point where you don't forget. So that if and when somebody else should come along and say, man, you're not going to understand this, you're going to say, oh, try me. I bet you I do, you know? And Divine wants you to know there is an open door coming to you. You're to respond in the affirmative towards. Say yes to, okay? And 22 is a number of some significance. Now, what I recall from Angel, I almost said Archangel. Angel number 22 is significantly impactful regarding the office of that of a spiritual teacher. So you could already understand that you are that, or are to really action that out in this life, that is part and parcel of your divine purpose, okay? Um, and know that your words create worlds, okay? You are the hero of your own cosmic journey, and you've got great gifts to deliver to the world. All right. Each evolutionary turn requires you to give up who you think you are. And that comes with a beautiful, brilliant 11 energy. Oh gosh, 2111 on the timer, right? So again, not necessarily easy. Uh-huh. But what did we have a card about easiness? What was that at the beginning here from your inner child? What say you, inner child? It may not be easy, but ooh, okay. It will be worth it. Okay, so you either believe that or you, I cannot make this up. I literally have in my hands a card that also has the number 11 energy, and it says, quote, your 11-year-old self. I'm telling you, your inner child is screaming. You better freaking pay attention, okay? Because it's like money's riding on this, your happiness is riding on this, your new freaking life is riding on this, you hopping on over into full force and effect new earth consciousness is riding on this. It's giving January 2026 is riding on that. Like, come on. And the universe and the ancestors are here with the come through, just saying. And they're telling you, you can write into this realm. You can write into this realm your reality that you prefer. All right, trust that and act it out accordingly. Could be some significance to the actor. All right. But the situation is you're being called to be a co-creator of this new earth energy. You are in the front lines. All right. You could have, this could be your seventh incarnation. Confirmation for somebody, just saying. All right. But this is a situation where your third eye is awakening. And this is also a situation where the enemies specifically that come to mind when you think of trauma, how they traumatized you, abused, bullied, how they just incessantly disciplined. It's almost like it's almost like they disciplined you into your superpower energy through this hell, all right? Why? Because you have a big mission on Earth. All right, because when you get next to, or when you think on, or when you tap into God, goddess energy, source, life force energy, your energy too is connected. It's a hella threat, okay? You're being asked to sage your space, allow for this DNA upgrade to come to you. And I spoke on archangels. Metatron is definitely coming through with the come through if we're talking DNA, just saying, okay? And when we're talking about Dark Night of the Soul, we're also talking about rebirth, okay? Makes sense. You could be understanding that you've got royal bloodline ties, ancient divine blood ties, psychic powers, specifically clairvoyance, at least. I'm hearing to say at least. And angels are protecting you at this time. You could subscribe to being on the Twin Flame mission. But wake up, you empath, you. Okay, you definitely most assuredly are highly ranked in the spiritual world. They made cards about it. Same deal with you being the ambassador of divinity, whether you want to say God, goddess, or not. And you most assuredly are divinely protected. There's intervention in spite of this offense, in spite of the attempts, in spite of the fuckery. All right. Okay. And you're being asked to really take this as the divine communication that it is, and to stop crying over spilt milk. All right. But to start seeing the lessons in it all. All right. Some of you, this is not everyone, okay? Some of you have been making great strides in whatever else you'd like to do in life, right? Whatever makes you feel successful, whatever brings you pentacles. By pentacles, I mean, of course, the financial type, right? But also that confidence, that emotional satiety in who you are, right? You're being asked to remember divinity in it all. You are not separate and apart. You are not able to sever yourself out of and or away from whom, what, and whatever, because I'm speaking to a collective of people, have created you. All right. So you need to recognize the higher power behind those successes as well. All right. Because sharing's caring, right? Who are you to not share with the divine when it is by divine right rule? Right? Okay. So as you do that, you're also making awareness. You're making room for the divinity that backs you. It backs you. It backs you. No worries, right? But at the same time, when you are allowing it to back you, whilst adding your own awareness, your consciousness, your effortless effort, right, is going to be magnified. All right. You're going to get yourself into essentially what is known as the power of positivity. All right. And depressive thoughts can impede your spiritual and material progress. By recognizing that the soul is divine, there's that divinity, and that we are all beloved children of the Supreme, okay, the Creator, the all in all right, the universe, you might say. You will stabilize your mind in a field of positivity and awaken to your higher nature. And that's what this dark night of the soul energy is about you, in order for you to do just that. Okay, so wake up, get to it. All right. This is not a pressure filled statement, it's a passion filled command. All right. Both happiness and suffering are critical to one's development as a spiritual being. And again, that angelic code 22 comes to mind. You may want to look it up. Look up those angel numbers, would you? They really help round out the messages. Just saying. All right. Be consistent in your spiritual mindset through both good times and bad. And that's exactly what that purple lens, all right, that we talked about a few moments ago when we were talking about the purple one. All right. The purple lens, the spiritual mindset lens. Okay. Through both good and bad times. How can you appreciate either without the other? Right? And you're being called to release bad habits here. So if that is connecting to, hey, I got to share success. If that is connecting to, hey, I got to be more compassion filled towards others, who are, perhaps struggling and suffering in their own right. Okay. Just because you can't yet understand exactly why or how that is, doesn't mean that it should be automatic that you write those folks off. Okay. Because how do you know the way that you would live until you're living a certain way? How would you know until your back's up against the wall what you will do in that 11th hour? When you realize, okay, it's either me or this other person. When you realize, okay, I'm literally expected to be in survival mode right now, according to my circumstances and current mindset. When you start realizing how it's so easy, because we've all been there, to be in some skewed perception of reality, some lack mentality, and the amount of desperation that lack mentality will most assuredly produce. How could you still judge and to say, right is right and wrong is wrong? That is true just as much as what I've already spoken out to you. So now what? If we're living in a world where everything is true and everything is false and everything matters and nothing matters, what will you do? How will you live in spite of those being truths? Because especially right now, collective, in this dispensation, when people are making choices, do I follow my higher purpose calling, or do I stay back in the wayside? Do I continue to answer the call to co-create new earth reality? Or do I stay stuck and stagnant in my lack mentality? Like, there's just so many opportunities in this particular space and time for us to really see how muddy the waters are right now, for us to really see how there is a great lack of clarity in certain areas, certain demographics, certain types of individuals, and how there's not always something you can do to make change about that. So you've got to know what you will make change for and about you and your own path here. I hope that's making sense, okay? As we become aware of the divine nature of the immortal self, we move past harmful habits that come from fear, depression, and self doubt and rise toward fulfilling our own miraculous potential. All right. Definitely some significance to reconnecting with feminine divine energy. All right. Within self, especially. Okay. Because you are here to give to the world, right? But you've got to give in balance, just like you've got to do anything else in balance. All right. You've got a big mission on earth. You can't be quick to run up to the mountaintop to lead everyone else up there when you don't know the path at all. You don't even know yourself and or your capabilities to know if you should even have confidence to take the journey. You see what I mean? So you got to go within. You got to balance out dark and light, masculine, feminine. All right. It's definitely par for the course of, Dark Night of the Soul basic training. All right. There could be some significance to the military here. And you may not be able to control the environment around you, but you can control your perceptions and interactions with self as well as others. Okay. How you interpret your experiences determines what your experiences will be. All right. If you say, oh, I always lose, right? So that I'm sorry. How many wins were you signing up to receive there then? Because the universe only hears your order of lack, loser, right? Haven't you been assumed and underestimated to be that enough? You shouldn't, on the other side of the trauma, the abuse, the cruelty, join in to that type of party, should you? Hell no. All right? If you do not actively invest in your own spiritual growth, your quality of life will remain shallow, vulnerable to uncertainties, and subject to the fickle demands of the mind and senses. You've got to stay grounded in the truth that you know it to be. All right? Now, please be kidding if you thought you weren't to use your intuition on that, right? Please be kidding if you thought that you weren't to study to show yourselves approved on that. I mean, how would you know that you believed anything until you actually investigated your own belief system, right? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, make it make sense. Just saying. All right. Contemplating one's karma is not meant to engender sadness or guilt. It is meant to inspire emotional and spiritual growth through wise and compassionate choices. This is why you've got to go in, ferret around like, okay, am I balanced here? How about here? How about now? Right? And not in the sense of looking for imperfection and looking for reasons to just be hate filled towards yourself and not handing any kind of grace over your way. No. But in the sense of loving you enough to figure out, hey, what am I dealing with here? Should this stay? Can this go? Right? Should I make a different choice since these choices that I've been making in a pretty consistent manner are not giving me the results that I want? Right? Becoming self aware allows you to feel compassion for others because you come to understand they too are souls struggling to recall their higher nature. 3311, reducing down to that 44 literal angel number. Just saying. All right, you guys might really want to look these up. Just saying. I mean, I don't want to just force feed you everything, but there's some stuff you might want to look up those angel numbers, would you? All right, you guys. Water taken in through the roots of a tree flows out into every branch and leaf. Once love between the soul and Krishna is awakened, it flows naturally out into the world in the form of compassion for all beings. And that basically wraps up what I already got through the channeling there regarding, this is not a collective message or a message for anyone saying, hey, your spiritual guidance team had a whole roundtable discussion and they thought it was perfectly a-okay, you got raked over the coals there. They thought it was actually laughable that your identity was stolen. They thought it was pretty chill that you lost out on some money, some credit lines. You've had to fill out papers and talk to police and none of that, okay? But when you kind of take the emotionality and dare I say the inconvenience out of this, can't you see now how you can see a little bit more clearer on the other side. Maybe it took this message to get you there. I'm not tooting my own horn, just trying to allow you to kind of coast into the clarity that's very much here for you. And to be clear, it's not a cause for anyone to sign up for the next blow, right? This isn't even talking about, turning that cheek, whether it's the left or the right, over and over again, even though it may feel like it, because again, I can't get around this deja vu energy. This could have happened at least twice or more, okay? And I know even just the once, it can feel like, wow, like I'm unsupported, nobody loves me, is there a God, right? This too shall pass. But you got to do your part to be positive that it will, and to be positive that you are divinely supported. Okay, we're not here to be divinely supported to the point of no opposition, no challenge, no stimulus, nothing to do or learn and grow, right? So when you can kind of see it through, again, that purple lens, all right, not the rose colored ones, but the purple lens, where you are spiritually mature at seeing beyond some of the triggers and some of the, logic. Obviously, logically, you took a hit. Obviously, logically, that hurt. It felt unsafe. It felt unkind, and it was, right? But at the same time, when you can stand back and say, whoo, look how blessed I am. Somebody had the audacity and did to steal my identity. How blessed am I? You know how many people probably get their identities attempted to be stolen only to find out they can't because ain't nobody trying to claim that kind of identity with that kind of credit score, with that kind of debt attached. You see what I'm saying? So you just have to see how blessed you are. And again, match it with that positive faith that you will see an end to this. This too will pass. And not in the sense of, well, this is just going to happen again. I've just got to fear base this whole situation into a cycle. No, you don't. And please don't be that one. All right. Take a deep breath, ground yourself, ask your higher self, your angelic assistance team, inclusive of those archangels mentioned. All right. Who else did we have? Well, we had the inner child. Okay. Never forget that one as well. And who else? Well, we had ancestors come through. Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, maybe no one. Nope. The universe. All right. You are too divinely protected not to get through this divine intervention, which is also protected in spite of whatever current energies or officers or, representatives are trying to say. Okay. Maintain your faith about this. Maintain your positivity about this. Maintain your gratitude about this. And what is this? Your victory. Love and light.